accommodation. There are sometimes issues that rise up when everyone's all sleeping in the main communal space and you're trying to have the public, I've got to go into that in a sec. Generally on these things don't call it we're open to the public, because there's a whole raft of laws that can stop you having the public in. You say we are open to the guests and friends of the resident occupiers, resident squatters. So everyone's welcome, all welcome, it's our guests and friends. No, we're not having the public in, officer, it's only guests and friends.
We have a sign out front saying neighbours and community groups can contact us. Would that be a
No,
problem?
that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So, do accommodation separate. Info networking area, table of leaflets, go around and collect them from Lark, other social centres, whatever, bung a table out. It's really important to get the information out with all these community centres, parties, events. You get hundreds of people come through. I think we'll probably come to it later, but do a leaflet about your space as soon as possible. Computer tech area, we've all got mates who are techies, get them in, get to shove a couple of computers in and try and get some Wi-Fi dongles or whatever and provide some internet access to people, it's very popular. Gardening as soon as possible, it creates a feeling of longevity. If you go in and you just bung some pot plants in there, put some tomato plants in a thing, whatever, it really helps everyone who comes, everyone who's there to think, hey, we might be here longer. It also, it's a bit of psychological, sympathetic magic with the owners. If you ever get them to come round, I'll come to that in negotiations later, if they come round and you're gardening at the time, he thinks, God, I might be kicking this lot out in 2 or 3 weeks, why are they gardening? And they're planting potatoes and food and all this, and it's like, well, we want to be here for harvest time. We want to work with you, we're thinking longer term. There's a little trick there. So, gardens. Setting up working groups, number 5. I've got some notes here I'll leave with the community centre crew from this, so you can go back through it. Setting up working groups as soon as possible. This makes the whole project work more efficiently and effectively. Groups such as admin, events, outreach stroke media, legal, direct action, food and kitchen, gardening and front of house, repairs and maintenance, or caretaking. It's really key. I mean, we tried for years to go, get this working groups concept across to people, and sometimes it lifted off and sometimes it didn't quite. Occupy movement got very successful with it, had a lot of working groups, then it got out of hand. I think they ended up with 35, 40, 50 and working groups for, company bunnies or whatever it was, it's really good to have working groups. It makes things more efficient. What you need is a coordinator who's the person, is a non-hierarchical role that basically takes information in and out from people on that particular working group, provides information to the other people coming in. It's really, with working groups, the 2 key things really are a date and a time and a coordinator, and you get a book for the group or something, you write everything down. So the admin group meets on Monday at such and such a time, the kitchen group meets on Tuesday at such and such time, the repairs group meets on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And then anybody new who comes in, oh, I'm a carpenter, I'm a plumber, oh great, any chance you can come to the maintenance group Wednesday 7 o'clock. Set up as soon as possible and your whole project will run more efficiently, better and all that and thing. Number 6 is networking. Leaflet, website, contact number, email, Facebook, CIA book. Try and cut down, try and use some alternative things. Yes, it's very useful sometimes, but keep sensitive information off it. Twitter or posters. A banner out front. It's really good to remember that we get very busy inside the building, and it's very good to remember your front facing, how it looks to the neighbours, how it looks to people passing by. Get a big banner outside, get a couple, put some plants, put some fairy lights, make it look nice, keep it tidy. That's what they see every single day when they're passing to work, and you don't see as much, sometimes you forget about it, and really work on that, make it look good. Coming back to leaflet, I mean, we've all gone electronic, emails and Facebook and Twitter and posters. One of the most effective forms of networking you will ever get is a leaflet, face-to-face, with each person, looking them in the eyes, talking to them and saying, hello mate, what's your name? We're doing this new social centre, we're doing this event, we're doing this workshop, please come. And if you engage with them and chat to them for 1, 2, 3 minutes, they are way more likely to come than sending out 1,000 emails. You might get 1, 2, 3, 5 people or whatever, but if you did that for a few hours on somewhere local, you're likely to get more people because it's a person-to-person thing. And it's a great way of, little networker's tip, of meeting someone you like over the is you can go up to absolutely anybody and go up to them with a leaflet and say, hello mate, how you doing? Here you go, have you seen our new great LGBT social centre? Check it out, or whatever it is. So, number 7 is negotiating with owners, which I'm happy to help the crew here with tips and advice over the time. Letter of introduction, so that's your first letter on the first night. That'll be 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So, letter of introduction. Get a contact number from the owner when they turn up. So your basic letter of introduction, hello, we are a community group setting up a community centre in this building. We're cleaning, tidying, repairing, fixing. We would like to run a cafe and an art space. Don't mention kids stuff too early. Cafe, art space, bike repair. Please let us stay. This is a contact number for John and Sarah, group or whatever, numbers, email, website. As soon as you give them that to the owner, you want to start working on your second letter. And if you can hammer home a second letter before they even get you to court, then you're halfway down the negotiating process. Also, those 2 letters count when you go to court. So project proposal, first contact with the owner or the representative. Start working on, your third letter is a 3-page proposal. This is what we're looking at, we would like to do this, we would like to do that, list out all the repairs you've done, everything. Yeah.
What was the second letter?
The first letter is hello, general letter, we're here setting up a community project, which is for the owner, the police or the security. The second one is a more detailed letter that actually states more of what you'd like to do in the building, cleaning, tidying, repairing, and just goes into a bit more detail. Try and get that in before they start any court process, and then you've got 2 letters to show the judge. First contact with owners or representative.
Would you wait for them to contact us here for that? Like, would you wait for them, or would you go out of your way to give them a letter?
This is a little debate. I mean, basically, if you go to them, you give them pre-warning sometimes, and they might start it. If they haven't noticed you, then leave it till they get first contact, as we call it. If your neighbours have probably rung the council, is it Southwark or Lambeth Council? Southwark. They've probably rung Southwark Council.
Listed, yeah.
I'll give you a number for Steve Peake. He used to do the Synergy Centre. I think he's done loads of council liaison. Maybe he can help you to smooth something through with somebody who's friendly there. You got in last week. I mean, I'll chat a little bit afterwards about specific negotiations on here with you. So contact number begins negotiations. Keep in contact. Keep sending letters. Go to visit. Tell them about the new project. Be relentless. Be relentless. Keep going. Keep sending them letters. Keep sending them photos. Keep trying to go and visit them at their home office. Try and. This is one other one with negotiations that you'll get a warning from advisory services squatters here, but. What we tried as our experienced squatting Rainbow community group over the years was we would set the building up, clean, tidy, repair it, barricade it, make sure it's secure. And when we met the owners 3 days in or whatever, we'd say, look, if you come back in 1 to 2 weeks, we will show you round, we'll give it the guided tour, we used to call it. And basically, if you can get them to agree to that, you're 50% of the way towards a deal. Because most of the time they're curious, they want to come in and see their building, see you haven't smashed it up, see that it's looked after. And if they can actually come in and you go, this is the cafe, this is the bikes area, this is the this area, this is the that, whatever it is, then they're more likely to go, oh, actually, these seem like an all right group of people, I'm not going to use it. Ask what the interim period is. If it's 6 months, 18 months to 4 years before he's going to get the developers in, then you say, well, why pay 500 quid a day for security when you could have us in here looking after it, fixing up, you can come and visit once a month, check it's all right, whatever. But be very careful, don't bring them in until at least a week to 2 weeks afterwards, because if you try in the first few days, sometimes an owner can stand there and say, I'm ringing the police, this is my building, get out now. So don't try it in the first 3 days a week. Give it at least a week to a week and a half if you're fairly experienced with that, and you want to have 20 people in the building when they come, and all with brooms, and set the theatre just like, oh look, aren't we tidying up, isn't it looking good, and all their gardening is stage it, it's theatre, and you can win. Go to visit, tell them about the new project, get them to visit after a safe time, aim to share tea or food, become friends, keep networking. Basically, when they come visit, if you've got tea and cake on the table, if they drink the tea, you're like 60-70% of the way towards a deal. If they eat the cake, you've won. He's a little rough guy. We once got a deal with the Church of England Church, and as they came back after the guided tour, mate, he wafted the freshly baked bread from the oven in their faces, so they could smell it, and they ate cake, and we got a deal to stay there. Anyway, another story. Number 8 is health and safety. Talk to the health and safety trained persons from the festivals. I can give you a number from mate Bill Wango. There's other people who probably get in contact with festival folk to find a health and safety guy or girl. Get an email checklist for health and safety. I can probably try and rustle one of them up for you. Always check your fire exits are openable and kept clear. Fire extinguishers kept on the rack next to the fire exit door. Trip hazards are removed more corridors and maintain the gangways. Keep the gangways clear. Tell everyone, don't block up the exits, just keep things moving. Electricity safety, check all plugs and areas for bare wires before you open up to the guests and friends. Check the gas supply is safe. Always remember the bin line again, get them out before the end of the event and give them out to people, and always big up the backstage recycling crew with praise and awards. Social centre, squatting, community centre workshop. What's your name, Brett?
Oh, this is not self-defence?
Not yet, I don't think. Oh, is it? Okay. This is about 10 minutes. I'm just through the last bits of this. Right, a complete set of caretakers' guidelines. So the last little bit on there was basically anyone who recycles after an event, spot them and go, come and get involved with our community centre, because they're the grafters. We like people who recycle up towards the end. Get the bin liners out an hour, 2 hours before everyone leaves, and then everyone tidies up a bit rather than whatever. Right, number 9 is write a set of caretakers' guidelines. So what is expected from... So a caretaker is just someone who's on the crew. We say to them, oh, you're squatting. They say, oh, we're caretakers. We look after buildings. We take care. What is expected from a community centre stroke project caretaker? To be welcoming, friendly, to explain to people how the project runs and how they can get involved. Why are you doing it and where things are in the building, such as toilets, kitchen facilities, etc. Safer spaces policy also needs to be created early and put up clearly around the space. That's another one of them real hard-learned ones. You really got to get in early with that one. Basically, do it early. I've seen people go, oh yeah, we'll have lots of meetings and blah, and try and really, there's a few copies out there, and it's fairly basic. Get a basic one up and adjust it later, but get it up quick and early so everyone can see it. But the basic ones on the safer spaces policy are no violence or threats of violence, no racist, sexist or homophobic behaviour. Sometimes, depending on what you've discussed as a group, no alcohol or drugs, if that's what the group has consensed. There also needs to be a sanction. If you break this safer spaces policy, you will be asked to leave by the Tranquility Team. Tranquility Team was a new word from Climate Camp and the Occupy movement for people who it's a new age word for security basically, but the people who are willing to do that. But it's more than security, it's talking to people reasonably, diplomatically. As a group, you need to decide early on whether you want to say no alcohol and drugs in the building. A lot of the Occupy groups, a lot of community centres, everyone, people like a drink or whatever, but there are problems that come with it if your space becomes too heavy with alcohol and drugs, particularly around the front door, the entrance. Normal, straight people turned off coming in. So have a discussion on that and decide. Or, some of our projects said no drinking till after 8 o'clock at night or whatever. Nothing in the main space. No smoking in the main cafe space, whatever you can make. Or make a smoking room, or make a drinking room, or make something like that. But try and work that out, because it can help your project run better, particularly if you're really in the public eye. And remember that if you break the safer spaces policy, you will be asked to leave. And get people to deal with it as a group. Good to deal with some situations in a friendly but firm manner. Sometimes it needs the whole group to come together and back each other up with someone who say may be aggressive. Some situations are better dealt with by a small number of diplomatic people. The big question needs to be addressed with... okay, I've dealt with that bit. So that's most of it. Yeah, keep networking. Do it for the love, the people and the planet. Keep networking. We need an eco community centre in every area. Never give up. You can't kill the spirit. I think that's most of 20 years of knowledge bunged out in 40 minutes or whatever it is. You can check more details of stuff I'm working on at my blog, which is Phoenix Rainbow, PHOENIX, rainbow23 .blogspot.co.uk. And sorry for the commercial at the end, but if you want to support my skint cause, click on 2 big adverts, gets me £1. I know, but